We chose No Child Left Behind simply because we actually looked on the internet, but we had tried many different ways as to coming up with a name. We sat down for a while, we tried to work it all out, tried to come up with some names. We weren't successful there. We tried with our initials, putting all those together, and that didn't work. So then we went to the internet and typed in funny group names, and No Child Left Behind came up, and we thought it was very fitting for our studying watches with early childhood.
Developing story now, more on this massive national manhunt.
Yes, we've got Paula Hall from the Department of Child Welfare with us. Paula, thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Tell us about this boy. What kind of character are we talking about?
Well, look, we're talking about a young boy who is capable of stealing, spitting, breaking stuff, kicking stuff, defacing stuff, stealing stuff, burning stuff, and loitering and graffitiing. Yeah.
Even so, Paula, he's just a kid, right? He's alone in the bush. He's scared.
Scared? No, he's not. He's not a scared little kid. He's a spanner in the works, and I'm the mechanic who's going to take that spanner and put him back in the toolbox.
Okay.
Where he belongs.
All right.
No child left behind. No child left behind. No child left behind. You'll know what that means.
One of the most recurring challenges we face as a group during this module is sickness. When it comes to meet up as a group, on the presentation day, someone is always sick. This is a challenge we have faced in the module, but have managed to deal with very well and always come out the other side successful.
Another one of our main challenges as a group we face during this module is our unavailability. With our field-based practice on different days and different times, and the fact that 2 of us live in Hamilton and 2 in Te Awamutu, a day where we can all meet up is a challenge. This is something that, again, we have successfully accomplished and worked at and succeeded.
The celebrations we have as a group is we all get along really well. We seem to have the same way of working, so working together is really easy. Another part of the reason we get on well is the fact that we don't have a leader as such in the group. Instead, we all speak up when we need to and get along really well, and the leadership is spread throughout the group.
Another celebration as a group that we have successfully been able to present our presentations when someone has not been here. Over the module, we have been required to meet up as a group and do our practice for our presentations in front of the class. Someone, as explained, has always been sick. We as a group have found ways to make this successful by catching up with that person up to date with what they've missed, and on another day being able to present our presentation successfully.
Another one of our celebration games as a group is that we are supportive of one another and all understand that we get nervous about speaking in front of the class. We have encouraged and supported one another throughout this journey and the challenge we have faced, which has meant we have supported one another during these nervous times we had.
High five!
Our group's first way of communicating was through our group's Mahara page. This is where we uploaded documents of what we typed up or discussed in class, but we found that this wasn't a very useful way of communicating because not everyone checked Mahara.
We used texting as another form of communication, but we found it wasn't really successful as the person sending out the message would have to send the message 4 times, and we couldn't see what other people would respond to the message.
So we went to Facebook Messenger, which we found was a lot easier to communicate between the 4 of us, as everyone could see what everyone had replied, and there was no double up on messaging, so one person wasn't having to relay that message to everyone else. How are we going to do this presentation, guys?
Our best. form of communication was face-to-face, because otherwise messages can get misinterpreted. For example, when I was away sick, Chantal sent the work through to me, and I got really confused what she meant, and it'd been better in person how she would have explained it and helped me.
One of the issues we found with the online task is on the discussion forum, a lot of us had trouble finding out where to get to the forum to start off with, and then how to start our own discussion, and then it led to how to reply to other people's. But that's something we got over in time and learned how to do when we discussed all together.
Something that we introduced into our module later on, which we probably should have done from the start, was setting deadlines for our forums. As when we first did it, a few problems were that people weren't starting the only discussion on the Wednesday, and there were other people that were doing it during the weekend, and it delayed them with being able to reply. So we ended up adding a deadline that had to be done by a certain date, and then that had to be all done so that people could reply in time for the cut-off at 8 PM on Wednesday.
It's been really good to be able to discuss topics on forum, as we can see other groups' views, but our own as well, as our own views are really similar, and we want to see what other people's were.
One of the things that we learnt about ourselves is that we stuck to our group values that we made up. So we're confident enough to speak in front of the class. Sometimes we just need that extra push. We're accountable for the work that we are assigned to do. We contribute to the work that is set out in front of us. We are honest and tell each other when we can't do something, and we support each other through that, and we trust each other enough to let us know when we're not comfortable to do something.
The thing we learned from this module is that we need to proofread our work. We found that during presentations we have a lot of spelling mistakes, and from feedback from other groups during our presentations we found that that's something we needed to do, and so we have tried working on that throughout this module.
Deadlines. This gives our group time to proofread each other's work and give feedback on what needs to be fixed or changed.
From doing our online forum discussions, we found that as a group we like to procrastinate when it comes to our assignments. However, we learnt that it's not only let us down, but lets the whole group down. When doing group work to prevent us from procrastinating, we found as a group we like to go for short walks or breaks to get food to refresh our brain and go back to our work a bit later on. No Child Left Behind have three main links to Te Whāriki. The first one is contribution, because we are encouraged to learn and alongside others, and this is shown by a sense of responsibility and respect for the needs and well-being of the group, including the ability to take responsibility for the group decisions. For example, we show contribution in our group by working with others, everyone taking part in the work, and respecting everyone in our group and their opinions.
The second link to Te Whāriki is belonging. Belonging is shown by knowing you have a place. An example of this is the ability to play an active part in the running of the program, take on different roles and take responsibility for your own actions. For example, we show belonging in our group by making everyone in our group feel welcome and included, and getting everyone's opinions so their voices were heard.
Our third link to Te Whāriki is communication. It is shown by ability to express your feelings and emotions in a range of appropriate non-verbal ways, and to respond to the non-verbal request of others. For example, we show communication in our group by communicating not only face-to-face, but through a range of social media options such as Mahara, Facebook Messenger and texting. We also noticed people's body language and when they looked as though they may be unsure of struggling, and offering assistance. Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I have really enjoyed being in No Child Left Behind because I get to work with these three amazing girls.
Hi, I'm Chantal. Something I've enjoyed from this module is not being confined to our COP groups. Instead, we've found that we've built really good relationships when we've got to work alongside the other groups.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. One thing I've enjoyed about this module is working in a group to bounce ideas off each other.
Hi, I'm Nadine, and one thing I've enjoyed about being in our group is that not only getting to know the girls in our group, but getting to know people in the class as well.
Something we learned from this module is that we need to proofread. Oh my god.